Hey fellow readers, I'm Jamie. Welcome to my channel, Books and Beyond. I have finally decided to go ahead and do what I've wanted to do for the past few years, and that is make my own booktube channel. So welcome. Today, to kick off my very first video, I wanted to talk about some of my all-time favorite books. So let's go ahead and dive in. One of the books I want to talk about first, which I guess is more of a collection, is the Sherlock Holmes short stories by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. I love this series. I've read all of the short stories and some of the novels, which are just a little bit longer short stories. But I love Sherlock Holmes. I love the character of Sherlock Holmes. He is eccentric and a little bit grumpy, and he has quite a few issues, but the mysteries themselves are so intriguing and so fascinating. I mean, I could never pick anything up. I tried to learn the art of deduction and observance, but it's harder than it sounds, and it's harder than Sherlock Holmes makes it seem. So I cannot recommend this more. If you're looking for some easy reads or looking to get into the classics genre, I highly recommend the Sherlock Holmes short stories because they're fast and they're fun, and the writing is more accessible than some other classics, and I think there's at least one story for everyone out there. So if you're looking for something that will get you into the classics and you're looking for a good mystery, Sherlock Holmes, can't go wrong. Talking about mysteries, I have a guilty pleasure, and that is cozy mysteries. I am not mentally strong enough for some thrillers and true crime, some of the more scarier mysteries out there, but I love a good cozy mystery. There's nothing more fun to me than being in a small community, learning about all of the different characters, having a theme. Sometimes there's baking themes, sometimes there's animal themes. For me personally, one of my favorites is the Murder, She Wrote series, which is based off of the show that the most fabulous Angela Lansbury stars in as Jessica Fletcher. She is a retired English teacher who now happens to solve mysteries on the side because she just comes upon lots of dead people, apparently. But the setting is so much fun. She lives in Cabot Cove, which is a small community in the state of Maine in the United States. And it's exactly what I want out of a mystery. There's not a lot of gore, there's not a lot of graphic, but it's fun. There's clues and lots of red herrings, and the characters are just so much fun. I highly recommend it. If you can hear my cat, that is Izzy jingling, and I've got two cats, so you might end up hearing them every once in a while. You might end up seeing them at some point. But yeah, the Murder, She Wrote series, highly recommend. There's like maybe 50 of them. They're ghostwritten by Donald Blaine, even though Jessica Fletcher is technically the main author. But there's about 50 of them out right now, and I think they're still writing them. So if you're looking for a good cozy mystery, can't go wrong at all with the Murder, She Wrote series. Back to the classics, one of my all-time favorite books is Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. It's kind of a cliche, I know, but Mr. Darcy is one of my favorite characters, and I just love Elizabeth Bennet. It's just, if you're wanting a feel-good romance, this is one that is always a good standby. I mean, the movies, the limited series from the BBC, those are my go-to when I'm feeling down or I need a pick-me-up or I'm sick. I tend to watch those. The writing in this book is fantastic. Jane Austen has such a way with words, and like I said in the Sherlock Holmes series, it's more accessible than some of the other classics. It's easier to read than, let's say, Anna Karenina, in my personal opinion. And it's also a little bit happier. But Pride and Prejudice, Sense and Sensibility, just chef's kiss. Chef's kiss. Another classic book that I think the majority of BookTube can agree on is Anne of Green Gables by L.M. Montgomery. I have only read the first 3 books in this series. I have all of them, but I plan to continue reading on. I might have to reread the 3rd book because I'm not quite sure how that one ended. But Anne is so much fun. She is a kindred spirit. She's silly and imaginative and creative and romantic, and I relate so much to her. I personally would love to live in an area that is wooded and has just fields of flowers and the seaside, and these books are so romantic. They're so laid back, and they give you that feel-good summer day vibes. And even in the fall, I mean, this means so much to me. If you haven't read it, if nobody else on BookTube has if you haven't listened to anybody else on BookTube about these books, please, this is your call. Please pick these books up. On to fantasy. My top favorite fantasy series of all time is the Chronicles of Narnia series by C.S. Lewis. These are so near and dear to my heart. They got me through a lot of tough times. I read them every summer. Voyage of the Dawn Treader is my absolute favorite book from the series. It has the perfect mix of adventure and excitement, and also a hint of nostalgia and spiritual comfort. These books just reach in and grab you by the heartstrings. They take you back to a time when you were carefree as a kid, and they make me happy. I'm sure most people already know what they're based on, but it's about a separate world that 4 of the Pevensey children sort of happen upon through a wardrobe, and they are there to save, well, at least the Chronicles of Narnia, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe is basically they step into the wardrobe and they have to save Narnia from the White Witch, who has kept Narnia in an eternal winter, but no Christmas. So they have to defeat the White Witch, bring back spring, and bring back Aslan, the lion, to conquer the White Witch and free the Narnians. I don't cry in books very often, but this series will bring the tears of happiness and joy, but also a little bit of sadness for the last battle, and they are so good. More of a modern fantasy series is The Six of Crows duology by Leigh Bardugo. What can I say? I am a basic bitch. I love Leigh Bardugo. I love Six of Crows. She has the most beautiful way of writing characters. The characters in this book are just, you connect to them so much. You want to see them happy, you want to see them succeed, you want to see them together, and I haven't felt such a connection to a group of characters in so long that I have in these books. They make you want to continue turning the page. Even if they're not, even the plot is fantastic. The heist, the story is fantastic. But even if there wasn't, I would happily read a Six of Crows book with just the group of characters sitting around at the breakfast table just talking, because that's half the fun of these books. They really make you feel like you're a part of the story. And I actually read these books before I read the Shadow and Bone series. So you don't have to read the Shadow and Bone series to connect to the characters or the story, But it is fun, especially with the new Netflix show adaptation. So I highly recommend all of these books. But The Six of Crows, these two books are loves. I love them so much. One of a lesser known fantasy series that I so enjoy and I never see anybody talking about on BookTube is the Green Rider series by Kristen Britton. This follows a girl named Kerrigan Gladian who has run away from boarding school and happens across a messenger for the king of her realm. He has a couple of arrows stuck in his back, so he's just laying on the path, dying, bleeding out, and he asks her to continue carrying the message to the king, even though obviously he's dying and somebody's after him, so she needs to escape whoever is trying to get the message and intercept the message. But she says, okay, well, sure, why not? And she gets on his horse and she just has the most unique journey to deliver this message to the king. If you love atmospheric journeys through the woods, forest quests, long horseback rides, an undertone of magic, these books are perfect. I have been searching for so many books that make me feel the way that these books do, and I haven't found it yet. I believe there's 6 books right now. I will correct myself if that's not the case, but Kristen Britton is coming out with a new book this September, and I honestly cannot wait. Each book is, there's one particular book that I wasn't too fond of. I could have done without it, but I am super excited for this book. Every other book is spectacular in its own way. I love the character. I love Kerrigan. I love the king. I love her horse. It's just fun, and it's got a strong female lead, and I just think this is a book that nobody talks about enough, and I would love to see more people read it and discuss it and have a fun time going on this journey with Kerrigan and her horse Condor. Another favorite genre of mine is Gothic literature, which I have seen some people talk about this book, but not as much as I would hope for people to read it. It's called The 13th Tale, and one of my favorite tropes is books about books, which this covers. This book is about an author who has written 12 stories, even though the book is titled 13 Stories or Tales, and she has contacted a bookshop owner to finally tell her story, which happens to be the 13th tale. And I don't want to say too much about this book. It's very mysterious and gothic and just intriguing all around. You don't really understand where the plot is going until you actually get there. It's basically just learning about this woman's life and learning about how she grew up and the mystery surrounding her home, and I highly recommend it. I think it is a fantastic read. I've heard some people say that it's a little bit slow for them, but I like that deep look into somebody's life, and especially if it involves gothic prose and gothic atmosphere. So if you're into that sort of book at all, this is one that I highly recommend. I think it is a fantastic read. And that's just a few of my favorite books. I can't wait to start making more videos about some more of my favorite books, some more of my favorite genres, just talking about some of my current reads and recent reads and what I plan to read. I'm not really sure what my plan is for this channel. All I know is that I want to talk about books with everybody out there. I have always wanted to do this, and I thought today is the day. So if you've enjoyed this video, please subscribe. I plan to upload at least once a week, maybe more, to kick off this channel, but I can't wait to start discussing these books with you. If you have any recommendations based on those books, or if you've read any of these books, please leave a comment below. I'd love to hear your thought. Once again, I'm Jamie. Thank you so much for visiting my channel, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.